Are you sitting comfortably? Then we'll begin.
Saturday, January 31st. Welcome to Ukraine Updates, where Kremlin lies get exposed, truth grabs the mic, and Ukraine's fight is told raw and unfiltered. This week, a fake pause that fooled no one, Russian army crawling at the slowest pace in a century, and Zelensky calling out the harsh reality. This is a war where Russia fires missiles and drones at civilians. Ukraine defends with interceptors and desperately needs more of. And every meter of the battlefield is fought with drones, exhaustion, and relentless pressure for Ukraine to surrender. We're tackling the questions that actually matter. What does it mean when Russia's offensive moves slower than World War I? Can Ukraine and Europe defend themselves from the US and Russian threats? Will Trump administration ever understand that you can't end the war by supporting the aggressor? This isn't just a regional conflict, it's a clash of global power centers, and a new world order is in the making. US Iran tensions reshaping peace talks, China hedging its bets, Turkey playing both sides, and Russia sinking deeper into a demographic and economic abyss it can't escape. So, why is the Trump administration still backing the losers? This isn't a story of hope or despair. It's a story of brutal reality, the kind that decides wars. I'm Slavi. This is Ukraine Update Live. Let's bring in the panel. James, how's it going today?
Well, I had a failed live stream earlier today, so my apologies to any of your viewers who tried to catch me. I'm glad you're here now. I wasn't able to attend last week because my drone lab is going like gangbusters, you guys. And here in the eastern part of Ukraine, I'm happy to say my team of 9 technicians are really starting to really churn things out and really have some real success, and I'm excited about that. It just means that my time doing stuff like this has to be sacrificed. So I'm glad you're all here, and if you'd like to support the work that I'm doing to fight Putin and Russia, you can go to whyukraine.com and donate to my unit.
Absolutely. And we'll definitely talk more about that. Johnny, welcome back. How are you?
Very good. Just witnessing these historic times. James and some Ukrainians killed a massive number of Russians, 1.2 million, and lots and lots. New sources are now confirming this. So it's not just Ukraine saying it. A lot of independent resources are verifying it as well. So just excited to be here, and what a good time to be alive.
Yeah, absolutely. And Commander Macmillan, how are you?
I'm doing pretty great.
Excited to talk to you about what's going on and get your opinion on things. And our host, Dick, how are you doing?
Chaotic but good. We're gearing up for a move. So in my personal life, things are getting all sorts of crazy. And I have a tiny little 2-seater Mercedes sports car. So I could probably fit my Mac Studio in it, but I don't even think I can get one of the monitors in. So yes, it's crazy. But there's so much going on in the world that it's distracting me from the chaos in my own life, just trying to keep up with what's going on. And on that note, I think we've got the finger on the pulse of quite a few things to talk about. So we'll turn it right back to yourself, Slavy, with how are you, how's things, and where do you want to take us first?
Well, things are chaotic. I don't think anyone right now is saying, yeah, I'm great, everything's fine, unless you live under a rock and completely tone deaf, but, hanging in there and trying to fight the good fight.
Yeah.
But guys, before we jump in, we're streaming across the Shills, Channel Yarochenko, and Young Ukrainians. And also, if you guys could give James on his channel, Why Ukraine, a subscription, that would be great. And if you're new here, welcome to the chaos. And hit subscribe on whichever channel you're watching. Better if you can subscribe on all of them. And drop a like and share the stream so more people can see what's really happening. And also say hi in the chat. Tell us where you're tuning in from. And if you've got questions, throw them in. Our mods will give them to us throughout the show. And let's get into it.
Absolutely.
All right. Well, this week, the first trilateral peace talks between Ukraine, Russia, and United States in Abu Dhabi took place between January 23rd to 24th at Al Shati Palace, hosted by UAE President Sheikh Mohammed bin Zayed, who positions the UAE as a neutral mediator with direct access to all sides. Ukraine's delegation is led by Rustem Umerov, Secretary of the National Security and Defense Council, also joined by Kirill Budanov, David Arkhmakimia, and Serhiy Kislistia, a team combining military intelligence, political authority, and diplomatic leverage. The U.S. delegation includes Special Envoy Steve Witkoff, Jared Kushner, Josh Gruenbaum, and General Daniel Driscoll and General Alexis Grinkovich, signaling that Washington is treating this as a hard security negotiation, not a symbolic diplomatic gesture. Russia sent a delegation dominated by military intelligence as well and armed forces officials, which Ukrainian and EU diplomats interpret as a sign that Moscow is negotiating from a battlefield-first mindset rather than a political one. The talks focused on territory, security guarantees, and the conditions under which Russia would be forced to end its nearly 4-year invasion, with the U.S. pushing a framework that does not legitimize territorial conquest. Zelensky calls the discussions constructive, but warns it is too early to draw conclusions, emphasizing that all delegations are now reporting back to their capitals ahead of the next round scheduled for February 1st. EU Foreign Policy Chief Kaja Kallas publicly questions Russia's seriousness, noting that Moscow's delegation lacks political authority and continues missile and drone strikes on Ukrainian cities during the talks.
Mhm.
So
I
let's
think
go to James. Why is Russia demanding territory it doesn't even occupy? And what makes Donbass, which is what Russia wants, so strategically important to the Kremlin?
Right. So, I mean, the easy answer there is that if you ask for something that you don't already have and really have no chance of ever getting, I mean, the worst that can happen is you don't get it. You know, I mean that's it. That's the secret of Russian negotiations is always ask for the maximalist demands, whether or not you have anything to back that up at all. You know,
yeah.
and the problem is they're just not getting punched in the face enough because that's the only thing that makes them back down. You know, if there were a downside uh to them asking for this, you know, or asking, demanding this maximum thing, you know, then they would stop. If if the US told them stop asking, shut up, they would stop.
Yeah.
But until America decides to show some strength, um unfortunately this is where we're going to be. And as to why they want this territory, that is to say the Donbass, is because it is a foothold into the rest of Ukraine that is extremely defensible. Once they are in that territory, once they're here, they'll never be gotten out. So
Right.
you know, it is really just this last piece of the Donetsk Oblast, most especially, that is just you know, really tall hills and cliffs almost, and it kind of overlooks the whole eastern part of Ukraine. You
Wow.
can you can go you know, you can basically see all the way almost to Kupiansk and Liman, and you can kind of dimly make out Donetsk on the hillside. And I mean, you could put it's just eminently defensible. And they know that once, if they can manage to get that, they'll never be dislodged, and they'll use it as a base of operations to take over the rest of Ukraine, because the rest of Ukraine is not, the terrain is not so defensible.
Right.
It's heavily fortified, right? I mean, Ukraine started building these fortifications since I think in 2023 they started, and I think Commander, like how could Russia possibly get through these fortifications that Ukraine has built? Or
I mean, yeah, I think so. I think they could, but Ukraine's trying to make it as difficult as possible. Commander, what do you think?
I fall back on an old line used by, I think it was Patton, which is fixed fortifications are the last refuge of the incompetent.
Yeah, yeah. No,
I mean, the reality is you don't want to have to rely on fortifications because it's a known position, and the enemy can always just deploy a ton of artillery onto it and compromise the fortification.
right.
So
Well,
you want to
yeah,
have better ground, not necessarily
Mhm.
fortifications.
That's why with these fortifications, you know, it's a line. It's not really going to stop anything. It's designed to slow advances so that the Russians can then be targeted, slow and direct them. You know, so they actually purposefully leave gaps in these defensive lines
Sure.
to, you know, direct the Russian attacks through areas that are going to be easier for them to counterattack. And that has been the tactic that has evolved, that has emerged, essentially.
That's not a particularly new tactic. I mean, it may be on the battlefield there, but yeah.
Oh,
the
it's
idea
right
is
out of Sun Tzu, you know.
Yeah, let the enemy through the line, cut him off, and make him go away.
Exactly. Yep.
All right. Johnny, do you have any comments on this?
Well, as long as we're talking about peace talks, Zelensky kind of said it as well. It's pointless without Vladimir Putin's involvement. He's the one spearheading this war. Everything else is just, taking up time. It's to distract people from what's going on. They are actively shelling, actively firing missiles and rockets on Ukraine as they speak in Abu Dhabi. Putin is not anywhere present. They all say we have to go. Oh, by the way, there's the video of the fortifications that Ukraine has built. I think that's pretty impressive.
Damn right.
What do you say now, James? No, I mean, Commander.
I can tell you that I see those quite a bit, actually.
I bet.
And
too often.
Yeah, and yeah, and they are. It is, and I've been watching them grow, actually, day by day, week by week. I think what's actually, I mean, not to say those aren't important. It is very important, and the Ukraine finally breaking down and making these defensive lines. There was a time back in 22 and maybe even 23 where the Ukrainian army didn't want to make these defensive lines. Partly because of what you were just saying, Commander, in the sense that it shows that somehow shows that they're losing or what have you. But it's I think the Syrskyi line echoed the Russian. Oh my gosh, what was the Russian line called previously after the general the general who wasn't he like arrested now? But
I think it's
which general has
yeah. I think it's son of a beachy.
But I mean,
they have Shoigu, they have
Gerasimov.
as well. Gerasimov, yeah.
No, but the Russian defensive lines actually did prove incredibly effective against what was supposed to be the summer counteroffensive, the Ukrainian counteroffensive in 2023, and that was the wake up call for the Ukrainian side that we got to have this, and now the number of infantry on the front lines is so incredibly low. This is very well documented. Okay, on the Ukrainian side, we're talking about like 1 soldier per kilometer, something along those lines. In that range, and there's a good reason why. Okay, because if you put a big cluster of guys out there that are not hidden or in a bunker in some way, they're going to become a huge target. They're going to be shelled, and so it's more of a spongy sort of maybe defense in depth situation. It's just a much more incredibly more complex battlefield.
I'll jump in real quick with a shout out here because Ken Vet in the chat there, KD9 was gifting out memberships. Thanks, Ken. That's awesome, buddy. Thank you very much indeed. Don't want to leave them sit too long because then you get forgetful, and before you know it, you've dummied out.
We also have a couple of shout outs to Papa Dutch coming in with a super chat saying, "You people are bad for my beer budget, but I just bottled 7 gallons of home brewed stout."
Oh, wow.
Nice.
Awesome. Drink up and enjoy. Oh, yeah.
Now,
It's beer for victory, or beer or victory or peace.
I think we can have both.
The negotiations. There was some discussion, I think it was on Friday or Thursday, one of the two, that the U.S. delegation was essentially going home because, quote, all that's left to do is sort out the territorial exchanges, which
Chat.
seems to me to be
Ominous.
kind of disingenuous.
Yeah.
I mean, exchange is the both sides exchange, territory. In this case, Ukraine has to give up Donbass. That's what they're asking for. And Russia gives up nothing. So,
Right.
I mean, I take these peace talks with a grain of salt because Russia needs these peace talks to keep going because they're actually using them as a weapon. As long as peace talks are happening, Ukraine can't really deep strike Ukraine or Russia, and they're using it as a weapon basically. And just
It's
I
propaganda to make it look like Ukraine is being inflexible and not willing to compromise and everything, because that's how they're framing it.
Yep.
And, I keep waiting for substantial pushback on the other side to say, no, it's the Russians who are being inflexible and are unwilling to compromise. But I think as long as the current administration here in the US is in power, that's not going to happen.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, also the US has been exploring, more like pushing the framework where Ukraine would give up Donbass in exchange for American-backed security guarantees. Guys, this is a trap they're setting for Ukraine because they
Considering
want
the Budapest
Ukraine
Accords,
to give
yeah,
the territory, and then we'll talk about this framework security guarantees. Like Ukraine is never going to go for that.
Who would?
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, if they want the Donbass, they're welcome to come here and try and take it.
The thing with a guy like Putler is if you actually say, okay, then here, you can have that. Now let's get down to peace. It'll be, but I want the other hand now. And now I want the foot. Now I want the other foot. It's never going to stop. Do it once and that's it. There's no way.
Yeah, and unfortunately, this kind of works for Russia because some well-intentioned people on the internet, they're like, well, wouldn't you give up some land, for peace? The fighting will stop and all that. And those people don't realize the fighting will not stop.
No.
Russia will just take that. They will settle. They'll create more defensive lines. And they'll say, okay, what's next? Listen, this was the first part. Now let's talk about what else you can give us. Russia is not going to stop until Ukraine exists.
Yeah.
Yep. Exactly correct.
Yeah, as far as they're concerned, Ukraine is Russia, and they're not going to end this until it is, or they're going to keep trying.
Or until they are crushed to smithereens, which is
Right.
what's going to happen.
Yeah,
To be clear,
it has to happen. You can't have this level of rogue state being such a threat to everyone just trying to exist peacefully together. It has to end. You got to go in there, carve it up, and turn it into little states, man.
Yep.
Yeah, that's exactly
US
what's going to happen.
Trump administration needs to get it through their thick skulls that as long as they're helping Russia win, they will never, ever stop the war because Russia will keep going. No matter how much you give, no matter how many deals you make with Russia, US will never be able to stop the war this way. Because Russia needs to be stopped.
100%.
And also
Only
the
way.
way the current United States administration is, they're not about fair deals. They don't see Ukraine as a level player in the world. They see Ukraine as this small nation who has to submit to these larger, more important nations. They kind of divided the world between China, Russia, and United States, and everyone else has to follow the lead of these better countries. That's what Russia has been doing for years, and now United States is doing the same thing. And I'm sure you guys have seen Trump put the picture of Putin in the West Wing of White House, so that kind of speaks about his intentions as well.
We have an image of that.
Well, I think we
Yeah, I
also
mean,
need to
Oh,
remember.
sorry, because I didn't see that he wasn't here. Yeah, we have an image of that. I do have it prepared, and there's actually something funny I want to point out but go
I
ahead.
think it's important that we also remember that if Russia goes under, that's going to impact the Orange God King personally, because he has
Might
all
get
of
his
the-
Nobel Peace Prize.
Well, no, I mean all of the loans that he got from Deutsche Bank, which are unsecured except by Russia. So if Russia goes under, then those, the underwriting of his loans goes away, and they'll call in the loans, and his empire ceases to exist overnight.
Dick, can we put up that photo that Trump put up of him and the gargoyle midget?
Yeah.
I want to point out something here. Trump is about 6'2". Putin is much shorter than that.
Yeah.
So they've edited the midget to make
Wow.
him way taller.
That's wild. They had to
Yeah,
have
The
they had to have
Kremlin did
photoshopped
that.
it.
He's not that tall.
Wild.
Putin comes up to Trump's shoulder.
Yeah.
Oh
Yeah.
my, I didn't even realize that. This is wild.
Yeah.
Dude, that's because I've seen this picture. I mean, and why would Trump put that on his bathroom? Okay, no, I know.
Family underneath that horrendous portrait.
Yeah,
That's his family. Him with his.
I know about that part, and the putting Putin above his own granddaughter. Okay, which that speaks volumes right there. But then, why would he hang a picture on his wall as much of an egotist as Trump is? Why would he hang a picture on his wall showing Putin 10 times life size?
Because he was told to.
Well, notice also that I think Donald's portrait there has also been altered. He looks a lot more slender than he usually does.
Exactly.
Yeah, so the whole thing is that was probably the deal, right? We'll make Donald. We'll make you look more narrow if you let us stretch Putin out.
Well, no, it wasn't the Trump. So this portrait that he received from the Kremlin. So the Kremlin actually edited before giving it to Trump. It wasn't.
Well, I mean, this is height difference. It's like Gandalf and Frodo here.
You know what's going on here?
Wait, I'm a giant.
You know what's truly going on here? This is proof that Putler is a total cock, because every time the blood rushes to his head, he gets bigger.
Well, actually, what it is, it's not photo edited at all. It's the fact that Putin is actually standing 20 feet in front of Donald Trump.
What we're dealing with is a guy who is not necessarily a friend, but he's somebody that Trump needs to survive. So Trump will support him in order to prevent his downfall, which would result in Trump's downfall.
I was listening to Timothy Snyder yesterday, and he actually explained something I've never heard this kind of explanation. And I was like, yeah, this actually makes sense. And he said that Trump was never actually a rich guy, or never as rich as Putin, as these oligarchs. He never had that much. I mean, all his businesses failed. And now that Trump is in a position, that's why he's always, going after the money, is to finally be in the company of these rich guys, like uber ultra rich, and Putin and Trump. That's why he's looking at Putin, because that's all what Trump really cares about is money, is enriching himself and finally being in the same status as Putin. And
that makes sense. And that also would explain to some degree his obsession with gold, which is, it makes me seem like I'm a powerful, wealthy person. because
for a rich guy or near being rich guy, he has a very poor taste.
Oh God, the worst.
but I don't think it has anything to do with taste. I think it's putting on the affectation of wealth
Yes.
to compensate for the fact that he really isn't a wealthy person.
Yes.
Well,
That
he's
was
wealthy
another thing
now.
that Timothy Snyder pointed out, and he was like, that's why Trump really cares about all these ballroom, all these knickknacks, and all these other guys like Putin, even Elon Musk. They don't really care about that. They're like way past the luxury. They care about their kooky ideas and
Yeah.
killing off the world and controlling.
I don't think he gets that everybody's laughing at him.
I know.
behind his back.
He's got such a tight little echo chamber circle built around him that they're just saying, no, great, everybody loves it. Like he's so sheltered.
But Trump is rich now. Like he made billions of dollars just in last year.
Finally, because before he was not in the status of where he is today. That's why, this president stuff, it's working out for him because he can, finally make some money. But before, he wasn't poor, but he was never as rich as he made it out to seem like he was. He wasn't. We don't know for sure, but he was never, he was always hiding it, and he's always broke. All his businesses failed. Where do you get the money from?
He always plays like he's a way bigger player than he is.
Yeah. And now that he's got power, yeah, of course. That's why he's, there's so much corruption because all he cares is about his money. That's why, it's not really about peace. It's about who can, give him the most money. The biggest deal.
Did anybody check on that information that Trump put the money from oil stolen from Venezuela in his private bank account? Is that?
That's what I understand.
Because I tried to research it, and it's incredible, and I didn't find anything that's contradicting that. Is that?
I think what I saw maybe a little bit contradicts that is that account was actually Venezuelan account that Trump now controls in Qatar. So, but it was already set up. I watched like Marco Rubio.
And I'm sure nobody's skimming off the top of that account.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's Marco Rubio, of course. I watched his whole hearing, and
Marco rubbed me the wrong way,
Yeah. But also now Trump started his board of peace, where he's getting from all these lovely, friendly countries $1 billion pop to sit on his board of peace, which is.
Yeah, can I just, anybody here know Iggy Pop? Because every time I hear board of peace, I think to myself, I'm bored, chairman of the board. Anybody know,
Of course I know Iggy Pop.
I was hoping.
Yeah, we had lunch last Thursday.
Are you kidding? Have you seen him lately? Or, he hasn't eaten a full meal in a long time.
Dude, that dude is the buffest, what is he, 75 years old now?
Yeah.
He's freaking, he's
I know.
wiry too.
Yeah. Bet he's dangerous. But anyway, okay, sorry. I had to get that in there. Culture reference I couldn't let go of.
Right. Well, let's move on to one of Russia's fails, and it was to deploy Iranian Fath 360 missile. And Ukrainian intelligence confirms that Russia's attempt to field Iranian Fath 360 short-range ballistic missiles has stalled, with no evidence of operational deployment, despite months of Russian propaganda claiming the system was already integrated into frontline units. The Fath 360 is a precision SRBM with a 120 to 150 kilometer range, designed to strike command posts, logistics hubs, and air defense sites. Exactly the targets Russia has been struggling to hit reliably as its own missile stockpiles are shrinking. although they are making the Shahed drones at incredible speed. So Iran reportedly delivered a limited batch of these Fath 360s to Russia's in late 2025, but Ukrainian and Western analysts assess that the missiles arrived without the full fire control ecosystem, launch integration software, or trained Russian crews
Wow.
needed to operate them. Yeah.
So they're like really heavy spears.
No, really, really heavy
Britney
paperwork.
Spears?
It's like big stick you can just hit people with.
You can joust with, maybe. Here.
Hey, they have horses out. Maybe that's the thing, Slavy. They're just
Yeah,
jousting with
exactly,
them.
Good. Donkeys and the horses are out.
Penguin.
Right.
idea.
Did you guys see the penguin? Sorry,
Oh,
that
yeah.
may be off topic.
Oh, yeah.
There's 2 penguins that are gone now, but yeah, apparently Russia thought that it was a good idea to put on this kind of like I don't have a picture of it, but I'm sure you guys have seen it. It's been all over the internet. These lonely penguins, which is like a big penguin onesie that Russians are putting on, and I don't know who's telling that this is a good idea, that it can hide you from thermal cameras. James, can that penguin costume hide you from the thermal cameras?
Sure, we can talk about those things. So yeah, I mean, we have not exactly that ridiculous, but we have thermal cloaks as well. Now, and they're becoming more the technology is advancing, but those kind that Russia hasn't, we have some too. They're not very effective. They're basically just big blankets. Okay,
I've seen the Ukrainian ones actually, and they look, I mean, much better than that.
Yeah. So here's the problem: the heat.
Anybody else singing the A&W theme song right now?
That's like the saddest penguin.
You know
that many
Exactly, in the
people
video,
when
that's
they
how they're
watch that,
walking around. Like they're like stumbling over and like going that way and like.
Or start singing the
can
Pingu
tell you-
theme song. Pingu, Pingu.
I can tell you that I've watched my pilots chase these guys around a lot, and there's different iterations of them. We had one we called Blatman, because he was Johnny. I'm glad you got the laugh on that one. Because they literally looked like freaking Batman, so we called him Bratman instead. I'm Bratman. So yeah, and the thing is so the heat has to go somewhere, okay? And as you can see from that picture, that it's very thick and there's multiple layers to the point where it's actually like semi-solid. And the idea there is, it's probably got mylar on the outside, and then the white, very light white fabric over that, and then it's got a thick blanket, maybe multiple layers of, hopefully lightweight, airy sort of blanket material, and then another layer of mylar underneath that, facing the human on the inside, and the idea there is just to provide that gap so that the heat takes longer to escape. Eventually, though, the heat has to go somewhere. So you reach a point where it doesn't matter how thick your blanket is and how good your reflective your mylar is, the heat is going to come out. And if you looked at this on a thermal scope, you would see the pants and feet would be glowing bright white, probably. And around where the face comes out, you'd see that bright red. And even where the cloak touches the shoulders and things like that, you would also see that very bright as well. And obviously, this guy can't use his gun. What's he gonna do? Like, literally, what's he gonna do?
He could use it like a flasher. Just open a little spot and go pew pew.
Seriously. So
Good
newer.
thing is they must be relatively warm in winter.
Yeah, I guess.
Yeah, it's probably but newer
Very comfortable.
newer cloaks do a better job of dissipating the heat and finding ways to do that. The other thing is, what's the deal with this thing that sticks out over the top of his?
James, that's the beak.
Well,
Penguin.
How else can he eat fish?
Obviously.
Have you seen the
I mean, it's
penguin?
the only
James?
explanation I have. I mean, other than that, it might be like kind of like a face flap that he can flap down.
Oh no, it's a beak. It's a
And-
costume.
What's weird is that
James, you have no soul. You're an engineer. These people are artists. You don't. You're not.
I'd love
Fair.
to take 15 of these guys and put them in the little penguin enclosure at the zoo and just watch them doing this and bouncing off each other and stuff.
Remember a couple of weeks ago, they had another very bright idea that they had like these standing tents that they had. And it's literally like a tent. I mean, if you guys have seen tanning tents, you just stand there or like a portable changing station. And there's a video of a bunch of them just like picking it up, and then I guess it's supposed to protect you from the cold and the windshield, but there's a video of just like maybe like 15 of them in these like tents, and they have to like pick them up and then like waddle over to like change positions. I don't think they can even see out of the. I mean, James, who is like making these genius ideas?
Honestly, I did not see that video, but it sounds like a tense situation.
It's a
I've seen that video.
Yeah,
Okay,
that pun
sorry,
flew right over most of our heads.
I know. I was
I know.
like, God,
got
no,
it.
you guys. Okay, yeah. Oh my
Oh, yeah,
God,
yeah,
are you
right
kidding
there.
me? Come
Yeah.
on. What the actual fuck?
They look like fucking weeble wobbles,
Dude,
man.
Dude,
The bodies for the front lines.
it's the Teletubbies of Russia. What the hell is this shit?
Gumby is going to sue for copyright infringement, man.
No, okay, so what these are camping showers. That's what that is. There's a camping shower.
Are they designed to be used
This
two at
is-
a time?
Hilarious. Do you guys I think it was like the Muppets. There was a Muppet thing where there was just one little segment where there was these like weird things that came up and went "Rah, rah, 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 rah." That's what I picture these doing. Exactly like that. "Rah," and another one goes "Rah," like what the hell? These are camping showers that they've obviously, I guess they cut holes in the bottom for their feet. But this is ridiculous. What is going on?
And also, isn't that like a huge target that you can see from any direction?
Yeah.
I mean, well,
This is
I
on
want
the level
actually-
of issuing people protective wear, which is filled with cardboard.
I actually want a giant poster of this, and I want to just hang it on my wall right here so I can wake up in the morning, every morning, and just laugh.
It'll definitely get you
The
a good-
history books are going to be.
I really want that. I mean-
Such innovation.
Yeah.
They
You could-
probably
yeah,
like ordered a bunch of Alibaba, but I know it's for sure not meant for like military uses. It's like either like a tanning tent or changing station. And
It's green.
in this video, there's a guy that like kind of talked as a voiceover, and he's saying it's gonna protect us from the cold. Meanwhile, the wind is so strong and they're standing there like getting blown away.
You watch them all just tumbling across a field.
Stupid with a capital
Bad Monty
stew.
Python sketch.
Yeah, no, this reminds me directly. I when I was a kid, I went to, I'll never forget, Truckee Air Show in Truckee, California, near Lake Tahoe. Yeah, big air show. And I had a proud moment as a child. I got to see an Apache helicopter take off and blow over a porta potty. And it was one of the funniest Yeah, one of the funniest moments of my childhood. And that's what this is. This is like the second funniest, honestly. My
No,
my
the
9-year-old
Russians have
self
a
would be
history
laughing
when
his
they
ass
get
off.
desperate of doing weird stuff like this. In World War II, it was the anti-tank dogs.
Oh, yeah. Wait,
you know
wait.
about
Can
that,
you
I'm sure.
No,
can you
wait,
play
what?
devil's
Yeah,
Well,
James,
they
can you play
did
devil's
because they're-
advocate with this thing? Like,
Okay.
can you describe the positives of those like toilets on the person? Like,
Well,
if you were like a devil's advocate, like if you had to think
I
of
would
Russian,
say that
You can't
if it
see the
makes
guy
them
when he's inside. You only know he's somewhere in there. So all your bullets.
if it makes them feel better, and makes them more willing to walk directly into the line of fire, which they, obviously continue to do so, then I mean, yeah. I mean, another thing is if it gives us a laugh, I guess that's you're making the world a better place somehow.
that's good for us. But for them, does it have any like real advantages? Like any difficulties for Ukrainian side as far as this?
I mean, no. I mean, other like the idea that it keeps them warmer. I mean, don't they have coats? They should have coats. So I mean, the only thing
That's
I can
for
think of is
modern armies. Come on.
right. It just makes them feel better about going to die. Sadly, like this will protect you. I do. I actually the only thing I hope is that I hope they have toilet paper in those porta potties.
They don't have them at home.
About it.
Yeah.
Well, since they don't even have water, where that.
Right.
There's actually a video that came out also like last week of them drinking like this brown, like dark black. I don't even want to call it water, but like mud that's probably has like their piss in it. It's really disgusting. Yeah, those guys aren't getting, obviously not fed. They don't have water coming to them. I don't know like how that kind of army can possibly think about winning.
Okay, Dick. I just say I was referencing the Muppets. It's actually Sesame Street.
Oh,
Do a
yes.
YouTube Google search for Sesame Street The Martians,
Okay.
and you'll see exactly what I'm talking about.
I have a couple of shout outs from earlier.
Sure.
Another shout out from Papa Dutch saying Ukraine got me started seriously thinking about canning and home brew. The old ways are good to know and better than commercial. Thank you so much, Papa Dutch. Also, another one from Papa Dutch saying Putin loves peace talks because it gives him something besides silence to break.
I like that.
And
That's a
then
good one.
one of my moderators is sent out 5 Slavi gift memberships. Awesome. Thank you so much. And another super chat coming in from Papa Dutch saying if you turn away from the talks, you're some kind of a bad guy. But if the discourse is purposely and deliberately being orchestrated by the aggressor to waste time, what is it?
Distraction.
Yeah, exactly.
Then
Okay.
I have
Yeah,
a couple more. Papa Dutch is also saying the Kremlin never changes one bit of their demands. No, never. In fact, they get more ridiculous.
Oh, yeah.
And then another one from Papa Dutch. How many times does the Kremlin have to refuse to negotiate before it is understood? Knock, knock. Everybody, they aren't backing down. You're correct. And another one from T-Bone saying, does anyone else believe Melania's movie is way for Trump to launder money?
100%.
It could have been if people would go to it, but
Yeah.
it failed.
It's less a money laundering scheme than it was a bribe.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
because he was going to crack down on Amazon because Bezos wasn't his best buddy.
Yeah.
So Bezos said, well, let me make this movie about your wonderful wife and all the great things she's done for the country.
Yeah.
It was
God, it's so
basically a $40
cringy.
million bribe.
Yeah.
It's so cringy. It's so.
I think it was like
cringy.
about she got paid like 64 million for the documentary
Oh, yeah.
to
Dear
shoot it over
God.
20
It's
days.
just hilarious that there are theaters that are running the thing that literally are having no one at all show up.
Yeah.
Also, Brett Ratner, the guy that directed it, known as
Creep.
Brett Rat,
Yeah.
he is, surprise, surprise, he's been mentioned in the Epstein files and the ones that just came out.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
not to anyone's surprise.
Say it ain't so.
Yeah. Trump, did you hire a complete creep to do your wife's documentary?
I think that's not a very smart question.
Yeah, and this guy, like he, like around Hollywood, he has like really bad reputation. He's been through like, you know, a lot of sexual allegations. And
Yeah, he's like a Weinstein protege, right?
yeah, and to be honest, his movies aren't that good.
I love the fact that 2/3 of the, not cast, but the crew on the film have asked asked before it came out to have their names removed from the credits.
Yeah.
And you don't understand what a big deal that is, because for people who work as, you know, part of the film staff or something,
Yeah.
that's really the only way to document that they've been involved with projects, is be able to say, yeah, I'm in the credits of the following films.
Yeah.
And to say, please take my name off. I don't want to be at all associated with this debacle.
Yeah.
Yeah. Papa Dutch is coming in with a super chat saying, now I understand the movie Melania being released right now. At this moment, it's tax time and it will be a thunderous deduction.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. A couple of shout outs I got to do here as well. We've got Niles Knudsen in the chat, renewed the membership, 28 months no less. Huge shout, Niles. And then he doubles down with some big shout, 20 gifted memberships. Bounce, little Mario, bounce. So huge shout, Niles. Thank you very much. Remember how it works around here, everybody. If you're the last person to get a gifted membership, you get the honor of paying today's bar tab. So send us your name, address, bank account records and stuff, and we'll get that to you as soon as we can. Awesome, Niles. Thanks, buddy. Don't send us any of that info. Don't do that. Okay, I'm caught up here. Where do we drive to next here?
Since we have James here, I wanted to talk about, I did bring this up a couple of weeks ago when it wasn't a big story, and it's about Russia using Starlink. And James was here and we talked about it. Now it has become a much bigger story. Elon Musk replied, you know, in his way. And James, I wanted to ask you, is there a way to turn off Starlink for Russia and leave so it wouldn't hurt, you know, Ukrainian communications?
Yeah. Listen. I got a call from Euromaidan reporter about this very thing today, and hopefully I'll be able to have an interview about it tomorrow. So, look, okay, I managed thousands of internet service customers for an internet service provider in the Southwest. Okay, the same way, it's just like Starlink. It was just point to point across, you know, not up in space, but horizontal. Okay, so wireless connections from like a cellular tower to a house or a school or a business or something like that. Exactly the same concept, though. All right, you pay for an account. Your router has a unique identifier on it. Your modem has a unique identifier on it, and I can tell basically where you are, what your address is, all of that stuff, and even more so, if you are, if you're dealing with satellites, at least I'll know where you are within like 100 meters or at most a couple of kilometers. Okay. Starlink, I mean, SpaceX, Elon Musk, those guys, they can track these Shaheds. Doesn't matter whose account belongs to who. Okay. They can track these Shaheds in almost real time, crossing over from Russia into Ukraine and traveling across Ukraine 1,000 miles. Okay. In almost real time with enough accuracy to easily see that, oh, this is a Shahed or some other drone attack coming in from Russian territory or from occupied territory and crossing over. It's going in that general direction. Okay. And even if these Starlink accounts are being set up under like a fake account in Abu Dhabi or something like that.
Right.
That doesn't matter.
Yeah,
you
exactly.
can see where it's coming and where it's going to.
Yeah, it has nothing to do with the billing address.
Exactly. They can easily shut this off. They can see, oh, this Starlink is connected. This Starlink here is connected to this satellite here. Okay, and then this one, and then this one, and then this one. So they know that this drone or whatever it is traveling in this direction. It's very super obvious, and they can easily shut off those Starlinks, even if they can't tell. Oh, I don't know if it's a Russian account or not.
Right?
No, that's
there
ridiculous.
was a text or a tweet exchange between Ukrainian officials and Elon Musk online, and Ukrainian officials said that they're very grateful that Elon Musk is working on this with them by turning it off for the Russians. I have it right here. It was Mikhailo Fedorov that said, "I'm grateful to SpaceX president Gwynne Shotwell and personally Elon Musk for their swift response for immediately beginning work on a solution for this." And then Musk goes, "You're most welcome."
Well, they have to be diplomatic, right? Because their hands are tied. They got them over a barrel. They don't want to get shut down all of a sudden by Elon Musk because he has a hissy fit and takes too much freaking ketamine or whatever. I don't know if there is such a thing as too much ketamine for Elon.
Yeah, it's called a K-hole.
Yeah.
So, so the thing is it, but immediately starting to begin. That sounds like something I would say when I don't want to get out of bed in the morning.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like I'm immediately starting to begin to think about getting up.
Yeah, the concept of what I'm gonna do. Right, the concept of a plan is.
I have a concept of waking up.
That's the most diplomatic. That's the most diplomatic statement ever. My congratulations to the Ukrainian official who wrote that.
Because what they wanted to say is no schlong schmuck is being okay, but we still don't trust that little bitch.
Yeah, no, for sure. So yeah, but the thing is that this could a team of like 5 people, okay, could easily manage this. How many of these Shaheds are coming over the border every day? Let's say 500, on average, right? Okay, I mean, a team of 5 people could probably manage that, a decent database, some search queries in real time. That's not even with like writing a few lines of code, like 25 lines of code. Probably you could just immediately search the database, boom, find the things and cancel those accounts. Okay. Or at least pause them temporarily. And maybe you get a few false positives and you say, "Oh, gee, I'm sorry. We thought you were Vladimir Putin." But that's not that hard. And I've done it. I know how it can be done because I've freaking done it myself. So
the average person that can make an Adreno control a stepper motor could figure this out in about 30 minutes, man. Right?
Pretty much.
And
before Starlink, Russians were using GLONASS GPS navigation. Whose navigation is that, James?
Those are satellites that Russia launched themselves many years ago, and I think maybe under early Vladimir Putin days, I want to say. they're horribly out of date, and there's not nearly as many of them as America has for our GPS satellites. God, I want to say there's only 6 of them or something
Ukraine
like that.
has become increasingly effective at disrupting with electronic warfare.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's why. So yeah, it's basically Russian GPS system. It's not nearly as accurate. The American GPS system is accurate to within centimeters, and GLONASS is measured in meters or tens of meters,
Right,
in terms of accuracy. So
leave it to a Russian to make a timekeeping system that can't keep time, because that's essentially all GPS is doing.
Yeah, and it's also just older technology and not as many of them. So.
Yeah, Timu GPS. Good one, first last name there.
Ukrainian officials do emphasize that the terminals were not supplied by SpaceX, but were acquired through black market intermediaries, smuggling networks, or captured units.
Weak excuses. That's exactly, that's, we can't do anything because the accounts are based in freaking India or something like that. It has nothing to do with the fact that you can see those devices traveling. You have ways of detecting them as they're hopping across different nodes on the network. You can track that shit. I used to be able to track rainstorms across my network across the Southwest between Albuquerque and the Grand Canyon, okay? Because I could see the network latency as the rainstorms would go across the desert and interfere with my wireless links.
Right.
It's easy to do. It's not difficult.
Nope.
I just want to point out that this is the timing of all this is very significant politically, because while Russia sits at the Abu Dhabi peace talks, pretending to negotiate, it is simultaneously upgrading its strike capabilities using Western technology and, undermining the entire premise of de-escalation.
That's the only purpose of these peace talks, honestly, is just to delay and deflect. It's literally, they're just another weapon of war for the Russians. There's no sincerity at all. It's not even a word that should be used in the same paragraph as
distraction.
Yeah, exactly. And they're just, and if they can also maybe get some intelligence, maybe hey, if Budanov is at the peace talks, then that means he's not back home doing something else. So there's and they'll probably try to assassinate somebody, if not one of the main negotiators and some of the other people, like they did in the beginning, or at least disrupt their lives, whatever they can do, and use it as an attempt to gather information as well. They're probably bugging everybody's hotel rooms if they can. The Americans and the Ukrainians, paying off, bribing, whatever they can do. They shouldn't even be allowed. They shouldn't even be allowed outside of Russia. That's the thing. That's the thing that drives me crazy is not just these officials, but all of the implicit or explicit war criminals who are flopping around countries all over the world, taking vacations in Turkey and Egypt and everywhere else. They all need to be stopped.
I got something here we got to show you guys. So Salt of the Red Earth in the live chat got a much better picture of one of these Russian penguins. So we got a more close-up view that's a lot more accurate. So I just wanted to share that with you there.
Now it all makes sense.
Yeah, and we have a shot of one of them with their trainer.
Oh my gosh. So there was actually an AI image of this one with Trump walking when the whole Greenland thing was happening.
Yeah.
And there's no penguins in Greenland. Can somebody tell that to Trump?
He's like, yeah, but in his world, it's but it's all snowy. There has to be penguins. That's how it works.
I'm waiting to see this picture hanging up in his bathroom.
And that's the same penguin from the front, just so you get a good look again. There we go. So yeah, cuteness be damned. Shoot him.
So it's really a Dalmatian and not a penguin. Makes a lot more sense now.
Yeah.
It's
So the
weird how
100.
the joke is not as funny as the real life at this point.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
true. It's true.
Yeah, this is actually here. Andrew Knight in the chat got this one, but that's actually Vladimir Putler in the penguin outfit. That's a real height comparison, right there.
That was the before the Photoshop.
Yeah. Oh, he was out visiting the troops. Wow. Nope. Where were we off to there? Super chat over here. Papa Dutch is channel hopping. Hey, Papa Dutch, how you doing, buddy? Sounds like you be brewing and drinking some good stuff. Enjoy, pal. Thanks, man. Very cool.
You are very wet.
Oh, puppy time.
That's what she said.
She's been outside in the rain and is soaked.
Okay.
For those that haven't been paying attention, River's no longer a little puppy he can pick up and show you on camera.
Oh, River's a puppy.
Yeah.
Allegedly.
Yeah. But
Yeah,
very
55-pound puppy.
Yeah. So, picking up. Otherwise, I'll have to get the bionic sound out, Do I even have that anymore? Yeah, I do.
Nice.
All right, where are we off to here?
Well, I wanted to talk about, and there was a fantastic article that exposing the truth, and it's Russia's offensive is actually the slowest of any army in 100 years. In all the wars, Russia is, I'm pausing for effect, is the slowest of ever any. This analysis shows that Russia's advance in Ukraine, literally moving 15 to 70 meters per day, and on average, like since early 2024, a pace slower than many First World War offensives. Even Russia's fiercest offensives, including the push towards Pokrovsk and grinding assault on Chasiv Yar, moved at rates slower than the Battle of Somme, one of the bloodiest and most stagnant battles of World War I. Western intelligence estimates Russia has suffered more than 1.2 million casualties since the full-scale invasion began, the highest losses of any major power in any war since World War II, and all for minimal territorial gains. The data shows Russia is paying catastrophic human and equipment costs for inches of land, not breakthroughs, a sign that the so-called meat grinder strategy is failing to produce meaningful results. The slow pace is most visible in eastern Ukraine, where Russia has been attacking continuously for 2 years, but still advances at a rate measured in meters, not kilometers. Despite throwing penal units, mobilized infantry, and armored remnants into fight. Some analysts say that the main reason for Russia's microscopic progress is the saturation of drones on the front, which makes massed assaults suicidal and exposes every movement to Ukrainian FPV strikes and artillery correction. Yeah, Commander Macmillan, can Russia win a war going the way it's been going like this with such high losses? And
by the end of the millennium, if they keep their current pace, they will have taken over about half of Ukraine. That's at the end of the millennium.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I mean, those are pathetic advance rates.
Wow.
I think the key thing to understand is that they're willing to keep throwing bodies into the meat grinder make those gains.
Yep.
And part of the reason they're willing to do that is because they mostly draw on the non-Russian ethnic areas to compose the forces that they're using to conduct the offensives. So it's not Russian boys who are dying, it's Chechen boys or Uzbekis or whatever.
Or just Russians from extreme poor rural areas
out in the Urals or something.
Yeah,
they don't really care, and they've made a concerted effort to insulate specifically St. Petersburg and Moscow from any real need to contribute forces or people to conduct these offensives. So that shows that they really don't care much about how high the losses are. But at some point, one would suspect that the outlying areas are going to get a little tired of this nonsense.
Yeah.
Particularly when the
Russians will never get tired of this.
Yeah, I think that the next step for Putin will be to call up the reserves. So something like 20 million, allegedly 20 million reservists in Russia. And when that happens, there'll be I think there'll be significant social pushback, in the same way that when they tried to do a draft in 2022, I believe, that failed miserably, and 1 million or at least 500,000 men fled the country. When the reservists get called up, that'll be a really important sign, I think.
I think it's also worth noting when you say that reservists in the Russian military are different than reservists in, say, the American military.
Right.
The American military, a reservist is required to drill, once a month for a couple of days and 2 weeks a year for, sustained training. Typically with Russian troops, when they're discharged from their active duty service, they're put into the reserves. And that's the last time they put a uniform on.
Zero continuous training or anything of that nature.
Complete unfamiliarity with anything that may have been introduced into the military since when they served.
There was a stat that it has come to a point where Russia is losing more men than it can mobilize.
Right. That's the thing. Yeah. And what percentage?
Because before they were like replenishing their meat grinder, like it was way more. So what does this mean for Russia? How?
Well, it means that instead of conducting a broad front offensive, they're having to only focus in certain areas where they're going to be able to bring enough weight to bear to conduct offensive operations. That in turn simplifies the situation for the Ukrainian forces because it means they can hold areas that are not active with much smaller contingents, and they can concentrate forces for counterattack purposes in the areas where the Russians are concentrating those new forces.
Yeah, I mean, we're still playing whack-a-mole. Okay.
Oh yeah.
We're still playing whack-a-mole, but they're getting ground down. It's the penguins, it's the donkeys, it's the the scooters and the all that jazz. And they have no more tanks virtually. They have very little armor of any kind, and they're just but they just keep coming, and this is how we're going to stop them, is just to grind them down to smithereens, unfortunately. And it's sad to say, but that's what they're determined to do.
I just want to chime in a little bit about Russia's internal instability. as a result of all this that's going on. Right now, Russia is facing 40% staffing shortage of its police force. And for Russia, it's devastating because Russia is a police state. When we talk about like the reserves, Russia always talks about the immense reserves that it has. It has like 20 million men that they say are ready to step in and crush Ukraine.
Yeah, how many of them are geriatrics? Seriously.
But besides that, these reservists, they're probably working in police. They're probably working at some factory. They're doing important jobs that Russia needs them to do. And if they are called to the front lines, Ukrainians are gonna, have a hard time stopping them. We have to do something about that. But they're gonna face even larger shortages at home, and they cannot deal with that. Right now they're trying to stabilize their internal situation. For Russia to be short on police, it's really bad because Russians, they kind of used to the force that their state represents. They like that their state is strong, and when there's not enough police, that shows Russians that they're weak, and that can create internal turmoil for Russia.
It's even a little worse than that, because some of the outlying areas, for example, Kaliningrad, which is that little bit of Russia that's stuck between Poland and Lithuania.
Right.
They've had to ship in additional security forces because there's so much noise and agitation about, we're getting the short end of the stick here. We used to be able to, go shopping in Poland, and the Poles would come and shop in our country and everything, and all those borders are now closed. So all the stuff that they normally got isn't coming in unless it's coming in by ship. And that in turn means that people who have the money to bribe the dockyard workers to get priority for their ships to dock, as opposed to the ships that really need to be docking to keep the economy running. Yeah, the whole thing's turning ugly. And so they're actually having to send forces into Kaliningrad just in case the people there decide to get frisky, rather than sending them to the front.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was really interesting for me to learn this week that Kaliningrad has become so pro-European in the majority that it's a real.
You wouldn't expect it.
Yeah, I thought that Kaliningrad was like some kind of fortress city, essentially, that was staffed with nothing but Russian army officers, in the same way that Crimea was. But yeah, it's actually incredibly encouraging.
Yeah. A couple of shout outs I want to slip in with here. So Papa Dutch had come in with another one there, and I got time to share as he's bouncing back and forth between Slavy's channel and our channel here. I bet he's got both chats up and he's watching one, right? That's what I would be doing. Good on you, Papa Dutch. Thanks, buddy. We got Adam Rounds comes in with a super chat as well. Question to Commander here. Commander, if the U.S. gave the rest of the weapons that was promised under Biden, where do you think Russia would be right now?
Kind of where they are, maybe a little worse off, but I don't think it would change the direction of things so much. I think it might have made things easier for the Ukrainian defenders to hold them at arm's length, so to speak.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't think it would entirely change the complexion of how the war is proceeding.
Right.
Wait. Okay, hang on a minute. So, if Ukraine had gotten the weapons from, like, so you're asking if Ukraine had gotten the weapons that it needed?
Yeah, for that Biden had promised, and
yeah,
right.
You mean like Lend-Lease and all that jazz? I mean, I think that the real result would have been that we wouldn't be having this drone war, to be honest. I mean, because we were forced to develop all this drone technology because we didn't have anything else. We didn't have the ammunition. We didn't have the artillery. You know, we didn't have all that stuff that's sitting rotting in like Sierra Army Depot or wherever, in the boneyard down there in Tucson. You know, we didn't get all that stuff. And as a result, we had to develop all these new technologies. And so in 10 or 15 years, when those chickens come home to roost and everybody's like, oh my God, why are we living in the Matrix and Terminator now? You look back on this time and realize, I guess we should have helped Ukraine.
Yeah.
In 2024, I believe that's when Ukraine was, hanging out dry. That's what, Ukrainians started to crowdfund. And I think, James, correct me if I'm wrong, but 2004, end of 2023, 2004. Self crowdfunded, and I mean, you got to be
it was kind of going on.
When
it was going on before that, but the drone part of it really came in 2023. People were starting to talk about it in 2022 and development, but they really kicked off in 23.
Yeah. Needs
late,
must.
like second half.
Right? Needs
Second
must,
half.
man.
Yeah.
Necessity. Prior to that, it was mostly artillery.
Yeah.
Was the deciding factor.
Yeah. No, and I mean, to some extent, I don't know. I kind of disagree with the commander. I kind of think that if Ukraine had, if the floodgates had been completely opened in 22, if Biden had done the Lend-Lease thing that he was given authorization by Congress to do, okay, and he never once used it, not once.
That's bullshit.
Okay, it's total freaking bullshit, and it could have been done, but and he could have easily done it. But this appeasement and it's that Eldridge Colby guy in the freaking White House, and these people who are like, oh, you don't want to make Russia too angry, they're gonna nuke us.
Yeah.
When and it was bullshit then, and it's bullshit now. They are just as afraid of they're afraid of losing their own lives because they're cowards.
Yeah.
That's why they're sending all these over 1 million of their own people to their deaths in meat waves. Because they're not just afraid of losing. They're not just afraid of Ukrainians. They're also afraid of their own people. So better to send them to their deaths before they have to pay them their 6-month bonus or whatever.
Yeah. Wow.
Seems that the U.S. is really lacking, helping Ukraine in even in energy. I'm looking right now. It's saying that Trump administration is promised funds and now it's being stalled while Ukrainian people freeze. But this was U.S. energy assistance for Ukraine, which has stalled at the worst time. And also the Pearl program, where Europeans get the weapons for Ukraine. Zelensky spoke about it in his recent interview, and there was no Patriot missiles coming in. At a certain point, they had to keep quiet about it, not to distress Ukrainians, because they didn't have any more air defense for the Patriot. And and apparently the Pearl program is failing because it was due to late payments, I'm guessing from Europeans. Yeah, it's a total mess, which was supposed to be, I'm looking at Europeans for this, but Americans at the same time are most likely holding up the weapons as well.
I mean, look, I know that everybody in America thinks, and I'm an American too, and I used to believe that our hegemony was invincible and everlasting. Okay. But I'm here to tell you that Ukraine, the future is Ukrainian here, you guys. The army that America has right now, and that it's going to have for this foreseeable future, is not prepared for these kind of future wars that are rapidly and obviously I'm thinking about Taiwan. But more importantly, like, think about how are Ukrainians going to feel towards the United States when this war is over?
Oh God.
You know?
Yeah,
Really.
absolutely.
And
there's 10 generations of fixing it right there.
I just try to do my damnedest to repeat and emphasize to the people, to the Ukrainian people here, that there are millions and millions, hundreds of millions of Americans who do support Ukraine, and they're scrambling to find any possible way to support Ukraine in any way they can. And it's incredibly difficult for a lot of people to find ways to send money to know that their $1, $10, whatever is getting to Ukraine.
Yeah.
And getting to the places that need it. Someone asked in the chat a while back, it might have been 15, 20 minutes ago, about the generators. Like, are the generators getting used? Yes. Yes, the generators are getting used. So I had an electrical fire in my laboratory today.
Yeah.
And because there was a terrible, rainwater and got in and soaked the breaker boxes. We had to it literally caught fire.
Wow.
And we ended up having to rewire the whole freaking laboratory. And yeah, I mean, power outages all the freaking time. Yeah, I have to get a whole battery backup system, because every time there's a power glitch, I've got a bunch of 3D printers making stuff for these drones. Every time there's a power glitch, it completely ruins the batch.
Yeah, and that's wasted material, wasted time, the whole nine yards.
Totally. And the same with the fiber optic spoolers and things like that. It'll ruin, many kilometers of fiber just goes down the drain. So I'm basically using, the same technology you'd use in a grow lab, Dick. Is basically what I'm doing to keep my power. I got these big ass freaking same kind of batteries that I would use for cellular towers.
Right.
Actually, when they lose power, it's big freaking batteries.
Wow, cool.
And yeah. And so, because we just have to do it. And so I just like to ask those of you who are in America who are, looking for ways to support Ukraine, you can do it right here, as you see on the screen. You can donate directly to my battalion. That's the Azov International Battalion. Or you can donate for specific items, as you can see below, that we need in the lab. I don't always have time to update those things, but the stuff you see there, that's so, yeah. I just need, yeah. So a lot of this stuff is stuff that we just need constantly, all the time. Optical fiber. If somebody wants to buy a 3D printer for us, we desperately need them. That's the biggest bottleneck that we have, to be honest. Because every drone requires a bunch of stuff to be 3D printed, and it takes a long time. It's amazing how long some of this stuff can take. Yeah, and by the way, Slavia, I was going to compliment you on your sweatshirt.
Yeah,
it looks amazing.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, and I do have merch on the site here. If you can see that it's about 50% of that goes to my laboratory. Yeah, so you can get it like a poster, a sticker, T-shirt, sweatshirt. I just decided to give it a try. Unfortunately, they're not made in Ukraine. I tried to find somebody who I could have something made in Ukraine and then shipped to America.
Half the time, it's the shipping out in Ukraine that's going to screw it up, isn't it?
It's not just that. Also, unfortunately, Ukraine has tariffs, really high tariffs.
Oh, right.
And anything that is over $150 value gets tariffed at up to 30%.
Oh,
it's ridiculous.
Okay.
This is why tariffs are bad. Okay.
Yeah.
Seriously, it's really dumb, and it's a holdover from the Soviet Union. But most Ukrainians are not aware that these tariffs even exist. They just know that Ukraine doesn't have any trade to speak of with other countries except for wheat and energy, which have specific exemptions and deals.
Yeah.
But exports of manufactured goods or anything like that, unfortunately, the attitude that most Ukrainians have is, oh, Ukraine doesn't make anything anyone wants. But the fact of the matter is that the tariffs are so high that it makes it impossible for for small manufacturers and producers and things to compete outside of Ukraine.
Right.
That's the real issue, and it's holding back Ukraine's economy tremendously. So, yeah.
I do have a question coming in for you, James, from John Pascal in a super chat saying, question for James or Commander, where are the Russian weak spots along the 1,600-kilometer front line?
I think that's OPSEC, actually.
Yes, it would be.
I think that's OPSEC. I have my own ideas. Let's put it that way. But I'm not going to. I'll share it with my commanders. But I don't want to give away anything because who knows who could be watching. There are definitely weak spots and there are big ones. But the problem when you're talking about advancing, Ukraine is still developing the training and systems necessary to effectively advance. And oft said that a smaller Soviet army will never defeat a larger Soviet army. So Ukraine needs to finish making that transition away from the Soviet mindset. And this is why Budanov and Fedorov are so important in reforming the military and all the related government systems.
A number of analysts talked about that, the big summer offensive, which was in, 23, I think it was?
Yeah, 3.
22, yeah. And, it failed and everybody was kind of taken aback and surprised by it. And the analysts have kind of looked over the whole thing and the reports they've gotten, and they said that was the real issue, is that the Ukrainian army, although it was being equipped largely with Western weapons, was still fighting using a Soviet-style doctrine.
Right.
And that meant that they weren't really capable of using that equipment to its best effect.
Well, and also though, NATO style tactics don't really work either in this modern war, and with the whole drone thing and everything else, they're just not working. A new system, Ukraine is developing its own hybrid. Of the two, really. And especially when you include drones into the picture. Also, like the big counteroffensive back in 23, it was so obviously telegraphed. It was so obvious that Ukraine was being pushed into it, so that they could just get more weapons and things. And I think part of that was a lack of confidence in their own strategic and tactical ability. And now, for better or for worse, Ukrainians kind of know that they have the upper hand there, and they'll be the ones to dictate what they use and how they use it.
Yeah, I could see that. I agree there for sure. Yeah.
We do have a report here which may answer that question. So this has been actually one of the heaviest weeks of fighting since the start of the full-scale invasion, with nearly 400 clashes in a single day and sustained pressure across Kupiansk, Liman, Bakhmut, and Avdiivka and Prokrovsk axis, a sign that Russia is throwing everything it has left into grinding assaults rather than coordinated operations. Russia's offensive pattern is increasingly chaotic, with units attacking in small, poorly coordinated waves, often without artillery cover or armored support. This is a symptom of a collapsing command structure and Kremlin's desperation to show progress before the next Abu Dhabi negotiation round, which is on Monday, I believe, the 1st. And Ukrainian brigades report that Russian assault groups are now dominated by Storm Z penal units, mobilized infantry, and under-trained reservists, indicating that Russia is burning through manpower faster it can replenish trained forces, which is what I said earlier.
Yeah.
And also the quality of the Russian equipment on the front is completely deteriorating.
You know, I happen to work with and have made pretty good friends with some guys, units in my corps who trained or have trained penal units, okay, or these type of units in the Ukrainian army. So that we're talking about like guys who are in jail, drug addicts, you know, and they're all put together in one group, and it's very interesting the approach rather than you know, send them off to, you know, die in some field. My friends who, you know, were freaking experts of 10 years of war, were tasked with the very difficult job of training these guys to be expert drone pilots, and you know, took like 9 months, okay, of working with them. But by the end, they had created an extremely successful, very large unit now. So rather, this is the difference, right? I'm not saying that that you know, Ukraine commanders or what have you are perfect, and some of them definitely do still hold on to that Soviet mindset. But these things are changing, and the preserving life, but also developing people's abilities, giving that constant training. This transition towards that Azov, I would argue, has spearheaded for a long time within the Ukrainian army. It is what is going to end up making the difference in this war. Whereas Russia keeps just having to send, you know, essentially new guys just every time. Thing, repeat. Ukraine has, even though, you know, they might have a lot of injuries, those guys come back. I have a friend of mine who you know, stepped on a butterfly mine, okay, and on a mission, and it mangled his foot. I think he might have lost a toe or two, and he said they told him, they said, look, you know, you can go through at least a year, maybe more, of therapy trying to learn how to walk again, or we can cut off your foot and you'll be back fighting in a few months. And he said, cut off my foot.
Wow.
Yeah. And he's coming back like next week.
Wow.
So, yeah, can you imagine? That's some huevos, man.
Oh, doubt, man.
That's determination.
Yeah, when you got balls that big, you need a wheelbarrow to carry them around, you know?
Right. That's right. Yeah. So that kind of determination is you know, what makes a difference.
I think it's interesting you said that, you know, Ukrainian penal battalions, they're using them to train them up to become proficient as drone operators and such. The Russians are still using their penal battalions for mine clearance.
Right.
And to explain what I mean, I don't mean a guy out there with a metal detector. I mean, you guys line up and walk across the field, and if it blows you up, then we know that mine isn't there anymore.
Wow.
Oh, no, they're using metal detectors. Every soldier has 2 metal detectors. The left one and the right one.
Yeah. Wow. Couple of super chats I want to get in here. So Papa Dutch has one. Slava Tazrina Olga's e-pigeons. I know the reference. And then there's a good one here, $20 one too. So let's get some blow-ups here. And he says in the chat here, he kind of wrote it as, where was it here? Dark Russian seeming outlook, something like Russian future fiction or something. So here it is. It seems we have two lines on this graph: the number of live bodies produced every year and the quantity of them that are destroyed. The regeneration of them would be interesting, but Bluesky farms serviced by young adult males. So Papa Dutch is getting into it now. Let's give some big shout out to Papa Dutch here, indeed. I think Papa Dutch has got like some writer in him, has a couple of those homebrews and gets right into it. You know what I mean?
I also have a couple from Papa Dutch.
Yeah.
Saying, holy shit, Starlink receivers report their identity back over service and GPS location.
Yeah.
And then he's saying, this means they can be found.
This is what I'm talking about.
Exactly. Exactly.
And then he says, Elon Musk has the data. Yeah, that's true. That's a good point.
He freaking knows it. 100%, man.
Another super chat from Salt of the Red Earth saying, fuck Elon and the weird penis-shaped island he visits.
Oh, that's good. And then over here, we got Johnny Negregard comes in with a super chat here. Hello, Shillers. Slava Ukraine. Herom Slava. Well done, Johnny. Thank you very much indeed. And to everybody. Well, big show for some shout outs there indeed. Speaking of which, okay, yeah, we're coming on our ending point. We got about 7-8 minutes here, and I got to throw it into the bag. So any questions or anything that we had to get to that we haven't got to? Let me see here. Yeah, okay, here. Question for James from Sarah World C in the chat here. Now that Mordor doesn't want its POWs back, what will Ukraine do with them?
Yeah, it's a really good question. I've thought about this a lot because it's really a burden on Ukraine to support these guys. Under Geneva Convention, they have to be and they can't be subjected to a bunch of propaganda to try to convert them to see the truth.
So some of them do go to the front, but fighting for Ukraine.
That's it's true. It's a small percentage
in the Russia or Free Russia Legion. Those guys.
And if you follow the convention and all the rules and regulations, incarceration is not cheap.
Yeah, exactly. And it's just a burden on Ukraine, And unfortunately, what Russia does with their POWs now is they just shoot any Ukrainian that they see now. There's not really that many Ukrainian POWs, new ones coming in. They're the guys they've held on to for years. But mostly they just kill them. So that also is a motivating factor for Ukraine and Ukrainians. Why we're not going to give up this land, because we know what's going to happen to us and to the people here, So I don't know what we're going to do with all those guys. I mean, I'd be afraid even to send them to a third country because most of Europe has not proven very stalwart in I wouldn't trust them if we turned it over to some other country that they wouldn't just send them right back to Russia for free.
Who wants the expense?
Right.
Exactly. Yeah, very good question indeed there. Hey, did you hear that little bounce? That means somebody supported us on Ko-fi. Thank you very much indeed. It's David N in the chat. Hey, David, thank you so much. And it's for the cause. Slava Ukraine. Herom Slava. Into the fun pot it goes. Thanks, David. Good shout. Good shout indeed. There was another one here. Where are we here? So this is Whitefishy in the chat. I was under the impression that because Ukraine isn't getting replenished 777s, they can't be as effective with artillery. Or is that just a lack of 155s?
The more rounds you put through an artillery piece's barrel, the less accurate it becomes. So depending on how much they've been firing, those may not be as accurate as they were when we first gave them.
Ah, makes sense. Mechanical wear and tear, right?
Yep.
Yeah, I mean, I can tell you that, of course, I don't work with artillery or artillery. I do know some of them. Ukraine has much more of a focus on accuracy and counter battery fire. Okay, and I can't tell you what kind of systems they use, but they basically wait for the Russians to fire, and then they detect where those locations are and immediately fire back, and then they move, and then they set up again. That's so it's also very telling that, like, I saw somewhere that 80 to 85% of combat injuries now are from drones.
Wow.
Whereas, yeah, that's a
Wow.
big percentage.
Can you?
Whereas if you go back 2 to 3 years ago, it probably would have been artillery being the bulk of those casualties.
Can you imagine saying to that stat to somebody who came out of Kuwait? They'd be like, "What? What are you talking about?"
Yep.
By the way, there was a big story from this week, and this is a good one, that Ukraine destroyed close to 1 billion of aircraft, and I believe it included an AWAC and a couple of Suhois as well.
Wow.
And this was, in a faraway field, so long-range strikes.
That takes the supply really low now, doesn't it, Commander? Like we were already counting in some low numbers, right?
My recollection is they started the war with 11, maybe it was 12 or 13, but it was not a high number.
Yeah.
Of the A50 AWACS systems, and they, at this point, probably lost due to Ukrainian combat action about half of those, and that doesn't even begin to address any flight malfunctions, equipment wear and tear, etc., that take down the others. So they may not have more than 1 or 2 functional at any given moment.
Right. Mm-hmm. That's not a bad thing at all. It wasn't me in the chat here with a question. Are there any news about the flamingos? I haven't heard anything since the announcement, and I guarantee that that's being kept to the chest real tight.
I know that they are ramping up production. That's the thing. So yeah, they're ramping up production. Yeah, just and the same. What are the other ones? The Firepoint drones, where they're making like 200 a month or something like that. And so it's just a matter of getting more of them.
Yeah,
basically.
I want to see some flamingo action, like multiple, build up and use them. It'd be like the end of Caddyshack.
There is news that there's a factory that did go up, and I think they're able to produce in Ukraine, but able to produce something about, it's not a lot, but like 200 per month.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I think that was the Firepoint, the FP1 drones, if I'm not mistaken, which are the smaller, like fixed wing. Then they have a tail that kind of looks like this. I may be getting it wrong. That might be the Luti drones.
Okay, so I have it right here. I found it. So Ukraine officially launched the new long-range drone production facility, capable of manufacturing strike drones with ranges of 800 to 1,000 kilometers. And the factory is already producing operational units, not prototypes, meaning the new drones will enter active service within weeks, not months. And the facility is part of Ukraine's strategy to build a fully domestic long-range strike capability. And I'm sorry, I'm just trying to see. It's about 200 per month.
Yeah, really super important. That's great.
Yeah.
That's great news.
Totally.
Scaling. So the biggest problem I can tell you here, the biggest problem is finding a safe underground place. because of the constant shaheads and frankly traders giving away these sorts of locations to those shaheads and other Kinjal missile strikes and what have you. Finding or creating these massive underground factories or laboratories or what have you. They're not always available. And a lot of underground spaces might already be occupied by now, all over Ukraine. So yeah, it can be a big challenge when you think of like the size that a factory needs to be, and it has to be underground, or it's going to get.
Oh, it's just going to turn into the Volkswagen factory at the end of the war, right?
As the factory is built with dispersed production lines, meaning components are manufactured in multiple secure locations.
Yep.
Mm.
There
But
you
yeah,
go. That's how you have to do it.
drones they bypass Russian air defenses. They fly at low altitude flight profiles and composite materials and modular guidance systems.
That's exactly the ones I was thinking of.
Okay.
Yeah, that's the FP1 drone, which is like the most used. About 60% of all strikes that Ukraine is doing right now is done with this drone.
Yep.
And that's kind of the reason the Flamingo missile got stalled. It's not because it's not a good missile, but Ukraine has other options that might be cheaper. They're doing the same job. They're effective. We may not need. The Flamingo had the biggest effect in information space. It had amazing, tremendous effect. Flamingo has done its job as far as we're concerned. And then the heavy lifting is done by these drones. They're cheaper. They're versatile. They're not as radar detectable as Flamingo, let's say. Flamingo has a huge imprint on the radar. So it's not a perfect missile, but it's doing its job in information space. And Ukraine is still producing Flamingos. So we might yet see Flamingo strikes as well.
Yeah, there's still a place for everything, but the FP1 is really doing a lot. Yeah. And I'm excited about that. But of course, the other thing that I'm really excited about for me, from more of a tactical perspective rather than strategic, are the similar drones to the FP1, but just cheaper and shittier, frankly.
Yeah.
But, I'm talking about these fixed wing drones that are in the range of like $500 to $1,000, and they have like a 40 to 60 kilometer range. These kamikaze drones, and now I've gotten to see a number of them recently, and I'm really looking forward to seeing them used on the battlefield more.
Yeah.
Just to put it, the Russia has these millennia drones, and they're constantly a problem, and we need more of our own of those.
Well, Ukraine did say they're going to make 70 million drones this year, which means the production is ramping up like sky high. Yep. For each Russian, there's going to be like hundreds of drones, literally. And the AI technology is evolving. There's like one guy who's controlling like 500 drones at once. So those things are all happening simultaneously.
But I believe Russia they can produce like 1,000 a day of those Shahed drones. It's something insane. Yeah.
Wow.
Did Iran situation change that at all? Do we know? Because
So I mean, we can't say for certain, but I think that a lot of the manufacturing of the Shaheds has just been moved to Russia some time ago. But there's still a lot of support and parts and things, as I understand, coming from Iran. In general, I think that I wish it were a revolution and not a civil war. But regardless, what's going on in Iran is good for Ukraine, and I just, my heart goes out to the the Iranian people. The Iranian people who are fighting for their freedom and their lives now, and something like 40,000 in one weekend killed by the Iranian
Estimates
regime.
are that in the course of 2 days, between 12 to 35,000 people were killed.
Oh my God!
Yeah, 35,000. That's the number I was having. Imagine
2
that.
days.
But the thing is that is a losing strategy, because every one of those the family members of those Iranians will they've sworn vengeance, even if they
James
did
is trying to
support
talk
the
and I
regime.
can't hear him.
Oh no! If you've lost his audio, Commander, just refresh and rejoin.
I can hear you.
Yeah. It's just the signal path is falling apart
It's just
on you.
me because I'm in Ukraine. That's why.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Yeah. Just
We
rejoin.
have against Ukraine, Commander.
All right.
I gotta say, on the drone, if it affected how Russia produces the Shahed drones, most likely we're not going to see it right away. It did. It did somewhat affect it, but we wouldn't be able to tell right away because they've already made so many.
Yeah.
So we're gonna have to wait to see, because the logistics lines and productions were disrupted.
Yeah.
So, but it's impossible to tell like right away. It's gonna, possibly in a couple of months, then we're gonna see most likely Russia struggle with sending less of these Shahed drones.
Oh, yeah.
As Venezuela also, that they had parts for the drones that they were like taken through Venezuela. So but again, we're gonna see the effects of it not right away, but coming in a couple of months.
Yeah, it's just Russia losing. They lost Syria, and now they're losing yet another ally.
Yep.
Basically,
and they need them right now. So let me get a couple of super chat shout outs caught up here, and we're getting ourselves into wrap up mode. Funny thing, there's literally a taco fight going on in the live chat. So if you're not in the live chat, get in there because you might get a taco out of it. It's just one of those things that happens around here, everybody. So Papa Dutch is coming in with a few super chats here. First one is, I was thinking the region of the foot of the Carpathians would be an excellent for secure facilities. There's a good point there. I get what you're saying. There may already be underground works. Second super chat of Papa Dutch is there. And I wouldn't doubt, knowing how crafty these folks are, they're well ahead of the game. Definitely. Papa Dutch again with a $5 super chat. Ukraine has some of the most extensive underground tunnels in the world. The ancient stone carvers went everywhere. Yeah, there's a lot of I bet the Viet Cong would have loved that whole thing, right? Very much so. And then Papa Dutch comes in with the last one here on the list. The same stone used for building. And Papa Dutch is laying waste to the super chat board here today. Everybody give him a couple of GGs in the chat there. Love it, Papa Dutch. Thank you so much, man. Oh, yeah.
In Kiev is actually, it's the deepest subway in the world.
Arsenalna. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. Yeah. It's the subway system in general. Kiev was built on like these hills originally, and then it kind of spread between. But yeah, there's several of the city center subway or metros, as we call them, that are like, it's Jesus Christ, it's so far freaking down, man.
Wow.
And then you have
escalator. It's like you're just going down forever. It seems.
Oh my God.
Your ears start popping and stuff.
Yeah. And then you have like Pechersk Lavra, and
which, by the way, was hit this past week.
Really?
It's like it's a 1,000-year-old church.
Well, it's a cave system that was turned into a monastery. and then a church, and there's all these monuments, and I've been there many
It's
times.
a very holy
Cool.
site. Yeah,
really cool.
but
Oh yeah,
they
the sex tunnels. Yeah.
yeah.
Actually, these
Um,
tunnels are actually filled with like 500 to 1,000-year-old like graves with like saints who are encased
Yeah.
in glass, and it's really weird. And you're not allowed to film inside because it's still part of the monastery. But everybody has these little candles, and I think you're like not allowed to use
that's
flashlights
also
too.
underground. Yeah, it's very creepy. I've been there a couple
That's
of
wild.
times. Yeah, but it's cool because I'd say like they're like mummified. They're not really
Totally,
graves.
yeah.
Like, yeah.
Sounds like
They're
Yeah.
saints. Like, yeah, it's a lot of history, and of course, Russia is trying to destroy it. It was a UNESCO site. It is, and it's so much history there, so much insane history and undiscovered as well. And yeah, and Russia targeted it. I think it was for the first time that it's been hit since World War One.
Wow.
Wow.
That
That's
sucks.
wild.
You got, places like that, everybody should have respect for. I mean, that's the kind of place that Robert Langdon there, what's his name, would show up and do a Symbols movie at. You need these places, right?
Totally.
Yeah,
Nazis, they spared those historic monuments. Like Germans would respect it. Like you walk around there, there's stone from 11th century.
Yeah.
It's just incredible, like all around. Like people would generally have respect for something like this. Like especially if you're trying to conquer this land.
Yeah.
Like you wanna.
Why wouldn't you want its stuff? Yeah.
Dude,
exactly.
Right.
Dude, it honestly, it looks like Minas Tirith from Lord of the Rings. If you're across the river and you look and you're traveling west headed into Kiev and you look out across the Dnipro, like that whole monastery complex and all these other monuments, it really looks like something out of Lord of the Rings. It's freaking awesome.
Let's kick ourselves into wrap up mode because we're already past 2:00 and I've got minutes to get my act together and get some life things going on here. What do you think, Slavy? Should we go around the table?
Yeah, sure. This week, let's do something. What you see, what may happen in February. James, what's your prognosis forecast of what may happen?
What's going to happen in February is that my fiber drones are going to schwack a lot of Russians. That's what's
a lot of penguins, huh?
For sure. And I would just like to point out that Russia has been trying these massive wave attacks in like Pokrovsk, Konstantinivka, Liman, Kupiansk, and whereas before they were able to create these little pockets, these cauldrons that they were using very successfully, and I really do think that Ukraine has finally figured out how to stop those, to even out the lines. So, and the way that they're doing it, the way they seem to be doing it is attacking the horns, attacking the horns of the bull rather than trying to go for the center of the cauldron or trying to hold that pocket or cauldron. No, attacking on the sides that are being advanced on until the lines even out, and allowing those units that are caught in that pocket to filter out successfully. And it's something Ukraine's been working on with uneven success up until recently. And I think the Russian jump in deaths has shown that what they had been doing previously for most of this war is not working anymore. It's great.
Yep.
Commander Macmillan, any forecast prognosis what may happen in February and spring?
I think we're going to see a lot of the same thing we've been seeing. I don't know what the weather conditions are out there right now, but as we move into spring, you're going to get the Rasputitsa again, and it's going to throw down or slow down any kind of combat operations because of the mud.
Yeah.
So.
Well, we had some rain here, and everything turned to mud. I mean, it was folder in a witch's tit for a couple of 3 weeks or so, and now we had a few days it was above freezing. It's actually kind of nice. I just wore my light coat today, my light trench coat, but now it's back to like -7 or something like that, and -10 even, and it's rough for the guys out there, the guys out in the trenches and stuff. It's real rough.
I
Johnny,
would guess, though, that your troops are better off in terms of equipment to keep them warm than the Russian troops are.
In general, it's still uneven. It's nothing is 100%. But yeah, still better in general.
Yeah, Johnny, what are your thoughts on what may happen in February, spring for geopolitically or frontline?
I'm very optimistic. Russia is facing several crises right now: humanitarian crisis, human resources crisis at home, shortage of any kind of positions in Russia that they're scrambling to fill, budgeting crisis. They don't have enough money for this year. That's why they're selling gold, and it's not enough. So we'll see. And the world is uniting. A lot of people are providing generators for Ukraine to keep Ukraine warm in this. Like, what's happening is just horrible. But so many people are coming together. They're seeing the light at the end of the tunnel, and we're gonna support Ukraine, and Russia is gonna be defeated.
All right.
Amen.
Dick, any final thoughts? Any?
Yeah,
prognosis?
I think we're going to get that stop start effect because weather issues and stuff. I'm hoping to see some cool Ukrainian innovation and usage of tools, and keep sticking it to those damn bastards until Russia finally starts to crumble from the inside, and we can see it become that cracker you just want to step on with your foot and grind into the pavement. I should thank the team while I'm here quick. We got Shayna, Mexi Girl, Liam Wakefield, Chris Lundy, Jose, and Super Chat Matt as well. Thanks, everybody, because without the team, you're only living a dream. It ain't real. You can't keep up to the kind of show we do if you don't have backup. Huge thanks to the team, everybody. What do you think, Slavi?
Yeah, as we wrap today, here's the simple truth this week made clear. Ukraine is still standing because Ukrainians refuse to let dictatorships decide its future. And every missile, every drone, every inch of this war is a reminder that if Russia isn't stopped in Ukraine, the damage won't stay in Ukraine. This fight matters because the world doesn't get safer when aggressors are rewarded. It gets smaller, darker, and more dangerous. If we want the war to end, we have to support the side that's attacked. And before we go, a couple of quick updates from Channel Yarchenko. We now have a Discord. Yay. Slavi Plus, I think the moderators will let you, will give you a link and you guys can join. And I think it's probably the only chat that you're ever going to see me online because I don't do group chats. So yeah, I'm very excited. And just the mods should be giving a link of how to join. And also all new SlavaCast episode drops Monday with Operator Starsky. We had a very interesting conversation, so you don't want to miss it. And yeah, if you haven't subscribed yet, make sure you do because we have a lot of huge guests coming in. I don't even know how I pulled it off, but we're doing it.
Cool.
And,
Congratulations.
Yeah, and, thank you so much. And thank you to the panel. Thank you, James, for all that you do. You're, absolutely amazing. And definitely, guys, if you can support James and go to his website, that would be fantastic. And I'd like to, thank my my mods, Rockstar mods. SSW, sorry, Salt of the Red Earth, Broadcast Cat, and Yellow Swagons. You guys are absolutely amazing and helped me set up this Slava Plus Discord. So
Cool.
awesome. And yep. Visibility is power, guys. So help us get there. Help us get Ukraine's stories out there, because silence is what authoritarianism counts on. So be brave like Ukraine. God bless America. And of course, Slava Ukraini.
Heroam Slava.
Slava.
See you soon, everybody. Thanks for joining us.
It's over. Go home. Go.